Hello, friends. I greet you one more time. Welcome to another program in the series, Homo Politicus, on Enterprise TV. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Today, we look at ABURE, Rides the Storm, re-elected LP National Chairman. BoT, Board of Trustees of Party, disclaims election. You know, like the proverbial cat with 9 lives, embattled Labour Party chairman, Comrade Julius ABURE, has been re-elected to steer the ship of the party for the next 4 years. Protests against the holding of the convention by some die-hard faithful party members persisted, I must tell you. This means that until the next national elections, ABURE would remain at the helm. National Convention Chairman and Deputy Governor of Abia State, Mr. Ikechukwu Emelu, declared the lawyer-politician winner at the convention, held in Anambra State. We should emphasize the place of politicians who have the ability to carry on despite the odds against them in our volatile environment. A can-do spirit that gets the job done diligently and excellently. So what remains to be seen is how we reconcile the emergence of ABURE without the support or obedience in the LP, and how he steers the party in Nigeria's peculiar murky waters. Meanwhile, let us tell you that the Board of Trustees of the Labour Party has disregarded the election of ABURE, even as it discounts the National Convention. Let's have a conversation, please. My guest is Akin Fatunke, Chartered Accountant, Public Affairs Analyst. Mr. Fatunke, I greet you. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Citizen Jones. And I like to say good day in whatever time that you are watching this to our viewers. And Homo Politicus, first among equals.
Yeah.
I'm proud to be here.
All right, then. Aki, Comrade ABURE, regardless, has been re-elected the national chairman of the Labour Party. Are you surprised at that?
Well, surprise will be some kind of hyperbole if you ask me, Citizen Jones. And like I always say, this movie we've seen before. Let me preface it.
Okay, Nigeria is like a movie to you?
Nigeria is like a movie that has a prologue, the different acts, and epilogue. That epilogue is supposed to now tell you, these are some of the things that you have learned from this movie. But the Nigerian epilogue
keeps you guessing.
Not just keeps you guessing, it just keeps shifting the goalposts. In one of these movies, I know I will have the very kind permission of my very good friend and a well-known person in our political business space. I talk about Professor Ikedinachi, Utomi, Pat Utomi. This same movie happened to him when he was in APC, and they were supposed to be doing what you call a convention to elect a convention. Okay, a state chapter election committee that INEC was supposed to be part, and the APC Apatishniks were supposed to be part, and poor parts headed to the venue, only for him to get to the venue and then to learn that the venue had been shifted elsewhere. And before he could say Robinson before Jack, declaration has been made. And he came out and said, this kind of thing, like Fela would say, this kind of thing will bring out the beasts in us.
Yeah.
Are we not getting a rehash? ABURE,
but are we getting bestial?
Not only bestial, we are getting very caricaturic. And the whole world will continue to laugh at us. It's like the worm trying to swallow itself. ABURE had been accused one way or the other of wanting to run a one-man show. The NLC did not want this to happen. And I thought,
financial impropriety too.
yes, and that, you need to clear yourself, you need to subject yourself to audit. And then you said, despite whatever it is that the courts might be saying, you are the Lord and Master. You just went ahead and then moved the thing from Edo State and to Anambra State. Curiouser and curiouser. Reminder of Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland here. You have got in there, and I found two different acts within the play. The first act is, I wasn't sure if the stakeholders were all present. I am not sure that Mr. Peter Obi was there. No, we're very sure that Professor Pat Obi, as an example, another example, was there. Members of the boards were not there. The only state that Labour is superintending, I dare say in parentheses, serious parentheses, one of the most active and states amongst the 36, including the Federal Capital Territory, happens to be ABURE, and the ABURE governor was not there. But the deputy governor of ABURE State, Okechukwu, was there. What do you make of this kind of a caricature, so to speak? And when you put all that together, one thing I am not entirely sure. Was INEC there? Citizen Jones, people like you in the journalistic profession, I also understood they were allegedly prevented from the coverage. Has this now turned into a coven? The last time I was talking about another coven, which was the National Assembly, where they do their nocturnal thing and then come and say whether you like it or not. Say, tie the law. I am the law. So, honestly, I begin to see so many curiosity, and I must confess at this point, I'm going to say it exactly as it is, that the Labour Party, the new movement, that we've put some store, at least quite a number of people have put some store, the obedience have put some store, and they have abused everybody on earth and in heaven who don't see eye to eye with them, will end up with this anticlimax, this gone crescendo, and I like to say a great fall. My belief is that at the end of the day, useful lessons will have been learned, that Nigeria is a grand conspiracy of where contending interests look for power. If you don't get it on the streets, you go on the roundabout, you shift parties, you shift alignments, but there is no clear-cut definition on how to go.
Sometimes people like us become nonplussed when we are told we are a peculiar environment.
Peculiar environment in a situation where everything but law, process, order, ethics, and the sense of shame. In all of this, in the books, there is none of the contending parties that don't know what the law should be, what the ethics should be, what the morals should be. What is lacking is that lack of a sense of shame.
Before we came on air, our producer was asking me, he asked me jocularly, are we in Orwellian times? Of course, we're living in Orwellian times. And specifically, it reminds you of the Animal Farm.
I tell you, Animal Farm, in a way and manner that you begin to see that the Donald Trumps, we are even hearing is coming back against the tide. We call us a zoo. People you should just cage together and then come in summer to come and be having a look. Yeah, the Orwellian fingers not being equal. Some people are much more
equal than others.
And how ABURE, in his wisdom, would think he will be able to ride this tide, even with 9 lives, beats me. And if President, one of the now famous in our lexicon presidents of our country, Goodluck Jonathan, swam against a particular tide, and the politics took him to pieces with the governors, and he eventually lost. If Atiku Abubakar, also against the tide and run of play, learnt nothing from the Jonathan example, and also did
Actually, it is one pregnant lesson of history. I hear that politicians hardly learn from history.
They don't learn from history. You know the reason why they don't learn from history?
No.
They don't learn from history because, Acton said it, absolute power corrupts absolutely. You are not expecting that you are going to be the one whose words will be law, and then you forget yourself in some kind of opulence and you get totally disconnected. However, Citizen Jones, when we say that politicians don't learn from history, sometimes I'm very careful.
They hardly learn from history.
There must be something or something that is giving them, putting that wind in their sail. You just go on. Go on. You're going to get away with it. I know a couple of...
I hear it is because Nigerian politicians superintend over a people who are not just docile, but illiterate.
Not just illiterate. Sometimes we are literate because of the love of the filthy lucre. What is in it for me? So I just go hook, line, and thinker. And somebody will always tell you that let them go to court. We are going to try and meet at court, giving them that kind of false hope, forgetting that the power belongs
to the people.
To the Holoi Poloi. And the Holoi Poloi can take a decision. But in Nigeria, does it happen?
Does it matter?
That is really the question.
All right. I want you to look at ABURE getting re-elected as the Labour Party national chairman. I want you to reconcile that with the fact that the board of trustees of the party has discounted the election and more or less rubbished the re-election of ABURE.
Citizen Jones, where were this board of trustees in a run-up to where we got here? Maybe they protested. Maybe ABURE says that I'm going to be a one-bullet kind of thing. How did they make that protest known? Why would you allow that? And under our nose, the deputy governor of one of the crown jewel states in Nigeria, ABURE State, now was that chairman of that. I see elements of the hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob in this matter. Situations where either way you must want.
You expect the court to wade into the matter?
It will eventually get to the courts, and then, of course, my dear friends, the obedience will now then come against the courts and say the courts, when you have not been able to practice the internal democracy that we expect, we did not see it, we have not seen it, And then you now look for every other person that's blamed other than yourselves.
Akin, but are you not surprised about it all that the same comrade Julius Abure is a lawyer?
Have you not heard
It doesn't matter.
that some of the best swimmers end up getting drowned in swimming pools? Some of the best drivers, some of the best sports drivers end up where dying in the arena. To know the rules of the game is one thing. To have the internal check and balance within you, to have the sense of shame, there are certain things
or the wisdom to play by the rules.
To play by the rules.
Yes.
Don't play by the rules. And then, then say others are not playing by the rules. So I am also now going to now follow suit. And like they said, there's a slang in Yoruba, they said, when you have the rares and then you have the otus, they say the otus, those who are not wise will be the ones that will carry the can of worms for the much more wise and for the much more maverick. In my view, am I miffed? Am I surprised? I am not. It's happened a couple of times before. I also feel that in the den of robbers, where you still have a pot of whatever that you still want to go in there. So just ramshackle and get yourself in there. Take whatever it is that you want to take, and then by the time it's 2007, you decide that you are going to remove him or not remove him. It might be. I am now analyzing.
Okay, are you suggesting to me, therefore, that for Comrade Julius Abure, it is not yet Uhuru?
I dare say, as an elder who has seen a lot of these things before, I would rather say for Comrade
Julius
Abure, this is really truly the beginning of an end to his political career as far as the labor movement is concerned. And he has a way you can jump ship and go and form another Labour Party. It happened before.
I don't think this internal crisis will affect the fortunes of the state, of the party, ahead of the next election.
It is obvious it's going to affect it, but will the members of the party listen? Will they reason? I don't think they will. I think, again, on strength of a relationship that I think I personally have with Peter Obi, and let me clearly make it point, before he left PDP, I was not only gunning for Peter Obi. On national television, I had said that is the new area to get out. But I put a proviso. I said, provided the Indigo Nation will come together as one, get him on and get it there. But I'm afraid, I don't mind if stones are going to be thrown at me for saying this. I don't think my adversary sat well with them, and I ended up taking all the flags and all the stones. And anybody that tries to advise otherwise got the flag. So my prognosis of what I'm seeing, that this is not only going to damage the aspiration of a good man in Mr. Peter Obi, and unless the BoT and all others get together, get elders to come into the fray and sort out things, I do not see how the Labour Party, as I see it today, will make any headway. There's also one proviso which I have always been preaching. Peter Obi, now of Labour, and Atiku Abubakar of PDP, they are one and same, and they came on the same ship. But because one was not going to listen to the other, especially Atiku Abubakar, who at that time had thought that was going to give a lifting to the man that has always supported you, so that the presidency will just be a walkthrough.
Mm-hmm.
He is not giving up. I foresee a situation where Peter Obi, with Atiku Abubakar, now finally seeing light and say, okay, come on, I'm going to support you. That will be the time and only time that I think a Peter Obi can come on. Hard to say, people will not agree, but the words of elders, words of wisdom, but sometimes they come very, very bitter in the air.
Yeah. They say advice is like castor oil. Easy to give, difficult to take.
I tell you.
Yeah. I hope you can deal with this in 60 seconds. I hear that in politics, when you bury the hatchet, you leave the handles visible. You don't bury the hatchet with the handle.
Even in nature, the ostrich buries his head in the sand, forgetting that the big twerk that he or she has is visible to all. That hatchet that you mentioned is like a warning sign. That warning sign, I hope the stakeholders will see, and we don't end up like that ship on its way to Sri Lanka, crashed on the Baltimore Bridge. What happened? The whole bridge came coming down. A word is enough for the wise.
Okay.
I wish Labour Party under Peter Obi all the best in all aspirations, reaching out and getting the consensus of all Nigeria for his dream to come true. If he chooses, because he's been saying that that it's not a do or die. If it's not going to be a do or die, or that it's not desperate to be the president, this is now the time to build consensus and lead us, get a very good and viable opposition in Nigeria.
Thank you, Akin. Akin Fadonke, thank you for your time. Many thanks.
You are welcome, Citizen Jones.
All right. That's it on the program today. You heard it. ABURE rides the storm, re-elected LP national chairman. But the board of trustees of the party has discounted the re-election and has distanced itself from the convention that produced Comrade Julius ABURE. I'm out of here. Until the next time, this is yours sincerely, Citizen Jones Hussein saying bye-bye and thank you. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.